am live. It is reversed. I just need to remind everybody, if anybody comes in, that when you're watching me, it's not the correct angle. This is the opposite. So it's a reflection of what is going on here. Okay, so my discussion today is I'm going to show people part of what I do on YouTube. I'm experimenting with, can you hear me? I'm experimenting with, hold on, let me just bring this up a little bit. Experimenting, I don't know why I can't, I don't know where the camera is. Over there, I guess. I guess the camera is there, so I need to look that direction. So I'm experimenting with what is accessible on YouTube, which is really important to understand. Is that it's not just about the arts. Okay, it's not just about the arts. I'm going to put the track that I was working on the other day in the background. Let me get this together. I don't know. Choose. Okay, I'm going to put the music on in the background because I just wasn't doing that earlier. This is just going to be looped. Okay, so in the background, if you can hear it, this is a track that I was busy working on for the idea. Going back into the question of why I'm doing this is because it is always important to learn new skills and to learn new products that are out there. Like, so for instance, let's go into this. Okay, we're gonna go into create. You see that little icon, this little thing over here? That shows you, that's like the new AI kind of development for. Okay, and then it has, it's almost like a new, like TikTok's kind of editing suite, but they've done something even more incredible. So they have a whole bunch of new things that you can kind of develop and experience or experiment with. And in my case, I'm using the photo video. So I create my own, I wonder if I can just, yeah, I'm gonna have to, I create my own. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can reverse this. Sorry, folks. Oh, no, I can't. Okay, so the camera is over here, but I'm looking in the wrong direction. My bad. Okay. I'm going to leave it for now because it's just going to complicate things. I'm going to try to look there because that's where the camera is. Okay, so when you're developing a vision on, okay, let's go back to this. This is the YouTube layout, okay? I don't know if anybody's really looked into this, but I was testing it out because I was like, I need to see what they have available. So it says create video, make me move, photo video, which is what I use. I use a photo video, image, background, music. And then these are just examples of the things you can do to create on there, okay? And I think people need to try out the new system and the new skills. YouTube has become an incredible source of global content, as we know. But it's not just global content, it's how it's constructed. I think to be honest with you, I think there's a lot more going on than people are even discussing about YouTube, which is quite amazing. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's go into creating a create a photo video. Okay. So we're gonna create a photo video. This is the YouTube studio. This is the YouTube studio. Create a video. Wait, create, hold on a second. Create, let me just see. Create video. You're responding to the content that you are creating to publish YouTube AI figures. Okay, so that's what it shows you. So when you start setting it up, you need to do that. Continue. Let's make an example. Okay. You can either add an image, okay? Or you can create a video with your permission. So I haven't done this yet, or we can do a description. So what you need to do is when you're developing this, you need to write, I don't know, let's just say modern contemporary space. Now I'm not going to publish it because it's not technically what I do, but I'm going to show you modern contemporary space. So I'm adding in the information, modern contemporary space, with, let's say, a cat in a Halloween costume. Very Halloween. With pumpkins. So the more descriptive you get, the more detailed the AI format kind of creates. But you have to understand, like, okay, let's create. So I just wrote this, okay? You can't really see it because it's reversed, but I will reverse. Okay, so it's going to create. Taking a few moments. It takes a moment to get there. And that's what it comes up with, okay? So it just depends on how detailed you get. I do not use, when I create my images, I do not use YouTube to create my images. I have multiple ways and multiple layers to create mine. But this is an example. You can do lots of different things. So you could, for instance, let's just, okay, so let's go back. That just gives you a general idea. Let's use an image. Add image. Only use photo of others with, okay, so that's not really going to be, let's use, I don't know if this is going to work, but let's test it out. This is one that I just created the other day, so I'm adding that image, and then maybe more of a description. Let's go back and give more of a description. Let's say, so there are a few ways you can do this. Make the figure move. And you can get more detailed into that. So I have one of the pieces that I designed and I'm putting it in here. Okay. So it's just loading, basically, is what you're seeing here. And the music in the background I was experimenting with. There's a lot more that I need to do with it. But you get a chance to see how I'm Okay. Very interesting. So as you can see, I create my own images, and then the images can be constructed. This is a different way. I don't usually do it this way. This is create a movie from, that's very cool. Create a movie from the, okay, I'm not going to post it. Maybe I post it. So let's see. Didn't think about posting it, but let's, it's very beautiful actually. So it works with, what it does is it works with the character or the image, that you're trying to kind of develop. Now, the music I do, it says add song. And even though I was using, like experimenting with sounds, I'm going back and using the piece that I produced. Okay. And you can pull it out from a video that you probably had constructed before. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to save it. I'm not going to post it yet. But that's a very good example. Turn it to private. This is all done on, except for the images. I do not create the images on YouTube. I create my own images elsewhere, okay? That's my difference in construction, okay? Related video, I don't know yet. Guess it is altered. Okay. So we're going to just save it as private for now, and then I'll post it later on. So that's a general idea. There are many different ways you can kind of put this together, but you have to be descriptive. Like you can't just say, oh, I need a cat with a costume. You need to describe the costume. You need to explain what the cat's going to look like. You need to explain what the cat is around to make it look as accurate as possible to the design you want. Now, I studied in, I'm going to just show you this. This was my high school in Tokyo. Backwards. Okay. American school in Japan. Okay, I graduated in Japan. Okay, so I went to private, both a private, an international school, private international school, and a public Japanese school. I think it was public. I think it was a public Japanese school. As a child, both high school was in Japan, and for my degree in the arts, I studied in South Africa, the United States, and Japan. And as a child, really young child, it was in Indonesia. My name is Indonesian. It's not American. It's not Spanish. It is indeed Indonesian. Okay. And what we learn is art history, both from the West, and I also learned from Africa, and I learned from Japan. So learning a little bit of art history makes all the difference to understand the aesthetics from around the world, right? That's a very different, like you can look at the oil paintings and Monets and Renoirs, but you also need to understand like where, like for instance, if you're doing anime, you need to know where the anime came from. Now, I taught animation drawing classes. I have all these books, right? So you need to, this is a great book. This is a great book, okay? But I'm not going to sit here drawing animation all day, every day. You need to have the books available for you to practice. I can, but I've already gone through this. I was teaching this stuff. So for me, it's not, I've passed this stage. I've passed the stage into a different realm. I'm going to have my friend who was in Japan, in South Africa with me. He moved to the States. He is now, I think he's living in Washington State, and he's going to join me possibly. And he's an animator, and his brother was an animator in South Africa, so we were like really good friends. And he may sit down and have a discussion with us at a later stage and talk about his experience being an animator and what kind of things that he did when they were doing stuff for people like, yeah. So you need to have the books. If you're going to practice, get the books first. You know, if you're going to complain about like how people are doing it, learn to create your own, but also understand the mechanisms of how it's constructed. Okay, so I was teaching this stuff. It's not like it was just part of what I was doing. I have other books. I have a whole bunch of books. So it's all about educating oneself on the books and the construction and the development of, this is a great book. She's a wonderful artist. Stephen W. Harton. Camila DeRico. She is, if you don't know her, you have to see her stuff. She has beautiful work. I have been watching her. She has different books. This is a great, and I think she's an American. She's American. She is not Japanese, but her work is so accurate in color and contrast. It's amazing. Amazing. She's a great. So get the books. If you're wanting to learn the basics and the introduction, learn the drawings. As I was saying, I lived in Japan. I went to school and I went to high school in Japan. So I have my certificate from Tokyo, right? This was part of what I did. And I think it matters to understand that this is where I was teaching art here in the States. In South Africa, it was privately in a private, I guess like an area where you did community, I think it was a community convention center or something. Where is it? Anime. So I was teaching anime already. It was nothing unusual about it. Now I'm just implementing a new addition because I do think that you need to have some skills in moving forward with advanced technology, because Japan's advanced in technology, China's advanced in technology, Korea's advanced. The only country that is not as advanced in technology is the United States and some other countries. But you have to get with the program. If you're going to survive in a world of change, you got to get with the program. You have to progress with the rest of the world, or we just stay the same. It's just not going to happen. Other, like Korea, Japan, China, have included their growth because the technology was created there, right? We're just finally reaching the understanding of technology in the States, but we are like 50 years behind the rest of the country, like the rest of the places. China's ahead of the game, Korea's ahead of the game, Japan's ahead of the game. The United States is far behind. And what I'm doing for my channel is to bring the far behind to the forefront and make something really interesting, because I have the certificates to prove that I have studied all this stuff, including teaching anime classes. Okay, I taught anime classes. I still teach classes. I still teach art classes by hand. But once again, get the books. If you're wanting to learn the basics, understand how to draw them first. But don't just understand the drawing. It's not just about animation. It's about understanding the cultural background. Like, Japan wasn't just about animation. It's the culture behind it. Like, people are respectful in Japan. People, like, the younger generation have respect for the elders. There is no rudeness that goes on. It's shunned upon in Japan. I'm sure it is in other Asian countries as well. And I feel as if it's important to bring a cultural mix into my animation, my anime, because from living in 5 different countries, I am going to incorporate different languages into the anime as well. Usually what happens is in animation or in anime is that you're generally dealing with one language, and that one language is translated. What if all the languages were incorporated, or most of the languages were incorporated into one anime to create a global context? And for me, that is really important, because I lived in the 5 countries, and I studied in like 3 different countries. 5 countries. I studied in 4 countries when I was too young to study in Indonesia. But yes, it is important. I think it is important to understand that it's past just learning it because it's fun, cool, but understanding the depth behind the cultural understanding of these particular skills. Like in South Africa, we were learning about African artists throughout Africa, not just Southern Africa, but people in Ghana and Kenya and I don't know, there are all sorts of countries. South Africa is just a country in a continent of Africa, if you didn't know. So if you didn't know that, obviously you had never gone to Africa. So I'm African. My mom is African. Okay. So let's get this cleared out. Okay. My mom is mixed like Tyla is. Tyla's mixed. So Africa is not just consisted of people of darker skin. There are many, many different types of people out there. Okay, so that's one element. And then in Japan, the whole point of going to Japan is to learn the culture. You have to understand the culture behind what is going on. And the music. I lived in Japan. You can hear the Japanese elements in the music. That's why I do it. I won an award in Tokyo for my high school. This was my high school in Japan. American International? Yeah, American school in Japan. That's where I studied. That's where I graduated from high school in Tokyo. Okay. So I come from a global context. I don't just come from an American context. And I think this is where people are going to have to see the bigger perspective of things, right? Drawings. I mean, it starts with a book. It starts with a sketch. I don't need to I don't have a huge space, so I'm not going to sit and draw what I already know how to do. I have 20 years of art education. This is for other people to learn right now, okay? Anime classes, animation classes, by hand before AI came about, okay? Before AI came about. But as an art teacher, you have to have the books. You can't just give people a project. You have to have the books in front of you to make anything possible. You have to come up with under sketches and then create a larger picture, which is what I do with my student right now. We're creating under sketches. He's in person. Under sketches, and with the under sketches, we create the larger vision. So yes, it is a very long process. But I think going back to the whole thing of I'm not just here for America. I lived in Japan for 9 years of my life. So that is my thing. Okay. And my husband is Cambodian, and we are an Asian family that enjoys Asian food. I don't do a lot of Western food. It's just nothing I technically do. It's just not how I was raised. I was raised to eat many different types. Even food from oxtail is good. Chicken feet's pretty good. Depends on how it's made, right? Okay. So going back to this context, you guys need to utilize this. Test it out. Try out what is accessible on YouTube. That is what I'm doing. I'm learning a new skill. And YouTube has opened up this door for us to learn. It is not just here in vain. This is here for educational purposes and to open up the broader spectrum of construction. This is the YouTube Studios AI Playground. This is on YouTube, so you can create your own ideas on here. Okay. Image, I already created one earlier, but background, the music's, it's not, I mean, you can get as detailed as you like, but it's not, it doesn't sound as quality. And then when you're creating images, let me show you. I'm using my phone today because all my images are on my phone. But I create my own images, hey? I repurpose the characters and I reconstruct them in different ways. So I am putting the work into, it starts with an image, okay? It starts with an image, okay? And I just move characters around because now you have the capabilities with all these other apps to create that kind of stuff. And this is a collage. She started off as a collage. Her face was not complete. She did not have a body, so I added a body to her. And before this, her body was on a different character. She looked slightly different. So over time, you're creating these images just like you do with an animation character. You have to start with a concept. You got to start with an idea. There are thousands of books to teach you how to do this stuff. But I only know how to do this because I know how to do this by hand. Okay, it's not magic. This is called actually skilled and qualified. I have a qualified degree in the arts. Okay, I'm two degrees in the arts. This is what she looked like before. This was constructed a different way. These are images that I created. Okay. And yes, I did teach animation classes. Here's my anime classes. There's my anime classes. Okay, so I start from ground zero. You know, you learn anime through ground zero sketches. I am not going to sit here doing sketches. I'm sorry. This is not what my channel is for. I am for a broader and a larger a spectrum. As an academic, I see it on a bigger kind of angle. I don't see it as a small picture. I'm seeing it as something much larger and much more complex to analyze. And my understanding of colors, because I grew up in Japan. And my understanding of color comes from what I studied there, okay? That is why it matters to understand color, because color plays a big role in how it is analyzed and visualized within your creations, right? So I do music, and I also do art, and I also do fashion. So my channel is about music, art, and fashion, and how all of them can be used, which is the animation, into one to create, like, a larger picture. Okay? And yeah, I actually do know what I'm doing. Okay? And these little characters, you have to remember that even though they're blind boxes, these are great to draw off of. So if you want to learn another skill besides having the books, get some sketches. You can create your own characters with using these as your little mock-ups, because these are useful. You can move these around. Like, I like the fact that this one, for instance, let's do this. These characters have great body movements. Hold on. Have all the supplies. Like, if you're going to do the art, have the supplies. What's nice about her is that her legs move. I don't know if you can move her head. You cannot move her head. But her eyes do move, so it gives you a different kind of angle of how to do it, okay? I've done over 200 and something paintings, thousands of drawings. I have years behind me. It's not like I'm just coming up with the idea and, like, it's happening because of AI. It's because I studied the stuff. I studied how to do the basics. I have the books. I was teaching anime classes, okay? Now I'm just implementing a new direction. Plus I hung out with animators, like anime people. And my uncle was, my cousin was a director. I know people in the field. It's not like, I think I have somebody that I knew who's now, like, directing Disney in South Africa. I don't know what her situation is, but I and my ex he wrote a film. Like, it's all part of the process. You need to understand what you're doing. Like, if you're going to be doing animation or people are coming over to me and complaining about what I do, I said, I studied the stuff. I studied it. I taught it. Okay? And I've been teaching music. So yes, you can have multiple skills. I don't think an individual should have just one. And yes, I am what you call a triple threat. I'm sorry to break the news to you, but I've had years of training. I did not have any kids. I may have a child one day, but not now. I did not have a child at a young age, and I think that helped with, oh, this is so well made. Wow, she's really well made. How do I put her back on? Oh, I need to put her on. Wow, this is like perfectly done. Made a proper jacket for her. That is so cool. Let's see if I can. Oops. So the music you hear in the background, I've been producing. This was from the last live. I hope you guys are enjoying it. There's more that needs to be done. But yes, I understand the concern of some people saying, oh, AI is going to be like a problem. I was like, it's not going to be a problem if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, yes, it is going to be a problem, because we all need to generate an income, right? But the income only happens if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're never going to make it. That's like a known fact. That's how it goes. Wait, why am I having a hard time here? Where's the little, oh, here it is. This is super cute. These normies. These are great little characters to recreate. Oh, this is another good one. What I was going to suggest. Oh, where's her little... Where is this little extension? Where's this little... Oh, here it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, found it. No, that's not it. Why am I having a problem? Okay, I'll leave her for now. Oh, there it is. It does tuck in there. Okay. I'll do it later. Okay. So what I'm saying is, all these little characters that people are buying, if they're really interested in learning how to create their own stuff, start with a mock-up. This little one is really good. She's great because her body does move. So this is the Molly Hello Moon, but her clothing comes off and she actually has moving body sections, and this is a great example of creating something with images. You need to have images in front of you. I bought these characters because action figures need movement. And this will help. Like, you always have to have the things in front of you to create them, okay? And I buy these kind of things because it helps me with inspiration, okay? Okay, let's see if I can put her back now. Okay, let's do this. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I actually do have the background and skills and know people within the world of anime, okay, and lived in Japan, to make it even a possibility. So these images that you're seeing, I do part of it by hand, part of it by animation, part of it by AI. It's a combination of the two. But you still need to explain, if you're going to use the AI, how you're going to construct it. So, yeah, that's the important takeaway, is that you have to bring the two together, and they're all original. The images that I've created are original pieces, original designs. I lived in Japan, if people don't know. I lived in Japan. I was teaching animation classes before AI came out. Okay. Books. Yeah, books are important. Having character sketches, create the characters with things that you already have. These are great examples. The Mollys are great if you're trying to explore movement and action. These are great because I love the eyes. These eyes actually move beautifully. And it gives you creative personality ideas for character sketches. Okay. Color theory. I lived in Japan. I studied the arts in Japan, South Africa, and the United States. You also need to have a little bit of understanding of Western art, Asian art, not just a discussion on Japan and animation, but on a larger context, because it did spread out to different areas. Like China's doing it, and Korea's doing it, and everybody has their own personal take on how anime is constructed. But before you understand the drawings, I think it is important to respect the culture and the country that it came from. And the country that anime came from is a very strict country, which is Japan. Japan is known to be extremely strict in the education system, and they would not tolerate bad behavior that actually happens in situations in our environments in the United States. This is the first country I've ever been to that has had conflict with teachers. It's not like that in other countries. In other countries, you respect the teacher, you respect the elders, you respect and you listen to people. There's no arguing. You have to just, you gotta tolerate the circumstance. So if you're going to create a character, get little characters to use as mock-ups for ideas. Like I said, I was teaching animation classes, okay? And I have all sorts of books. So through all of what I already know how to do, I am creating something just past and using new techniques and new skills to create new ideas, okay? And the music in the background obviously is like important, right? That matters. My Poshmark. And once again, these images that I create are created off of different ways, different formats, and I studied graphic design. So because I have graphic design skills, I can also understand how to move things around. It's not just a one-sided kind of circumstance here. Okay. So it all matters. It all matters. Oops. And I like my husband is actually enjoying. Like I said, I come from, my whole family is like, in the States, it's all Asian. My husband's family is Asian, so I'm in an Asian family, right? Great figure to use as, I like the fact that these move. You can be inspired by movements. I don't think it's a problem to use AI as part of the skill. I do think you have to kind of have knowledge of how to use it, besides just, let's just put an idea in. You got to create the characters somewhere, somehow. You need to have inspiration. I come up with my own characters, and those characters are constructed into the YouTube to make it move, okay? And this platform has fantastic resources. I don't even know if people are even thinking about it. Okay, so the resource comes with that little icon over there. You press that, and it opens a whole new world. It opens a whole new... This is all on YouTube. It opens up a whole new world. But I'm creating my own images. I don't take things from other people. I manifest them because I taught art. Okay, I was teaching animation classes. And I still technically do because I'm like moving into that with AI, right? Plaza Arts, okay? I was teaching animation classes before AI happened. Okay? Educate yourself with the books. If you want to learn how to do it, choose books that are like going to help you. Buy items that are going to help you with understanding movements and accuracies of characters. Okay? The faces will inspire you. Okay? Try different things. That's why I collect these. It also helps me with kind of getting inspiration for other ideas. This is an old... I don't know how old this is, but this is almost like a guy with, it's like, it looks like the, there are all sorts of ceremonies in Japan. There's one, I think it's a cherry blossom or doll festival where they make omochi. This looks like something that he makes a mochi out of. So this is from Japan, okay? They were all made out of porcelain before, and I think they used real hair. I don't know if this is real hair, or maybe it's horse hair, I don't know. But I appreciate anything. I even have scrolls from Japan that are made out of, like, ink. I might even pull those out at a later date, but I have to pull it out from underneath everything else that I have. I have the Buddhas, and then we also have, like, the scrolls that are underneath the Buddhas. Okay? So it's all about understanding a culture. Don't just look at it as, oh, it's animation. Animation came from Japan. Okay, it came from the wood block prints that they created uh, in Japan. I don't know, in the 1400s or something. So you have to go back to the culture of where it all came from before you understand what it really means and what it's actually for. Okay. I graduated high school in Japan in what was this? I think this was 1998. 1998, Tokyo. Okay. I studied in Japan. I taught anime. Okay. I teach a little bit more formal training now, but I had all these other drawings that I did. I don't have them at the moment, so I don't know where they are. And then there's this, and then learning to use book ideas. This was just a general idea. This wasn't anything. I experimented with using ink. No, not ink. It was watercolor and pencil. It didn't work out as well on the. I mean, I don't think I did a great job with this one. I think this was just a good example of a storyline, creating a storyline. Okay, so I think I've done enough having a conversation. But utilize what YouTube is offering. If YouTube is giving you access to another, they're encouraging you to use it. This is being encouraged because we are moving into this world of transition from you have to advance with technology or else we get left. America just got left behind. We are so behind from the rest of from China, Korea, and Japan. I mean, if I've lived there, so I know in Japan how fast and how advanced it was. It's so behind in the States. I hate to say it. And I think YouTube is giving that access for like countries that are probably haven't had it's free. Like you might as well use the access. If you have accessibility, it's free. So you open up Create, that little button over there. You press the button. Okay? And then on the top left, I think top right, it has that little thing, which is the AI. And it opens up this whole new editing suite. And you can explore all sorts of ways to create new ideas and new concepts. I do not necessarily create my AI images on here. I layer them in different ways. I either draw or I sketch it, and then I recreate it, and then I'm very descriptive on how I create the images. There are lots of different ways to do it. And this is coming from somebody who taught animation, okay? I was teaching animation, so I'm not just the run-of-the-mill, I'm doing it for fun, and it's slop. It's not slop if you really know what you're doing, and there's technicalities, and clearly, if your images are not looking the same as everybody else's, there's obviously a reason why it looks a certain way. And I'm 46. 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 46歳です。46歳です。Which is 46, right? So I spoke Japanese, Nihongo. I spoke a little bit. So I'm glad that I'm kind of finding that the processes allow me to incorporate different languages into the anime now, which is part of my agenda. Is I want to make this a larger vision, not just, it's an American who's just creating stuff because she's just creating it. It's an American who lived in American South African. I'm half American, half South African. So that's American South African who lived in 5 different countries, lived in Japan, studied anime, taught anime. Okay, lots of different things going on. Buying these cute little items because it helps with inspiration, color contrast, understanding depth, right? It all matters. It all plays a big role. And that's my little chat for today, but art matters. The education matters. Take it from people who actually know what they're doing. ありがとうございました。また明日。さよなら。